I think we'll begin on a very sad note. I guess we saw it coming, didn't we? But last night at the Universal Ostrich Farm in the wilderness of British Columbia, there were loud noises ringing out. Those were not vehicles backfiring, those were indeed guns. And the target were all those hundreds of ostriches. It looks like, well, they're all gone. Talk about the killing fields. First of all, why don't we start with you, Natasha? I guess the beginning of the end, given that the law enforcement were there, given that the CFIA agents were there, was the fact that the Supreme Court of Canada refused to hear this case. What's your analysis on that?
It's very difficult for me not to get incensed by what's happening because I think that any reasonable person who has some general knowledge about farming can understand that industrial scale chicken farms are not akin to this ostrich farm. And applying the same rules that are applied to birds that live 5 to 7 weeks makes absolutely no sense when they're applied to these massive ostriches in a small farming operation. And the fact that the courts won't hear the appeal to me is just further confirmation of the fact that they're ideologically captured. I no longer really see the courts as a justice system. I see them as a legal system, and I see them as an extension of the Liberal Party of Canada, which they really are at this point. I see them as the rubber stamp on bureaucratic overreach and tyranny. And I don't know how people can see it any other way, because any reasonable person looking at this has to wonder, is this really the only way that this could have been handled? There's no other alternative path to this. Like, why couldn't the birds be tested again? They don't seem sick. Like, this is the only way for them to be shot in the dead of the night. Like, it's evil. It's wrong. So I don't have the words to give like a dispassionate comment on this, because it's so wrong and it's so tyrannical and it enrages me. And I spent all morning crying. I was up all night watching. It's horrifying. It's horrific that this is happening in Canada.
No, I can't argue your points there, Natasha. But Viva, tell me, what are your thoughts? I mean, this story has been getting international attention, including from JFK Jr. And I know Ezra, at a press conference last month with a Liberal minister, he was saying, why not, given that we're trying to repair our relationship with the U.S., talk about the ostriches, reach out to JFK Jr. No, he didn't even get an answer for that. And as you saw, they've gone full steam ahead with this slaughter. What I'm asking you, my friend, what is the unspoken reason behind killing all these ostriches?
It's going back to the principle of communist regime. They never make a mistake. They never arrest a person. By definition, if they've arrested an innocent person, they'll find the time so that they have not arrested an innocent person, because the regime is infallible. You know, the old biblical expression, God shall not be mocked. When you think you're God, you shall not be mocked, and you will not be proved wrong. They issued the order in December 2024, the CFIA, hell or high water, they were going to defend that initial decision. And nobody was going to get in the way of them revising, reviewing that initial decision. They made their decision, and they are the God of Canada, and they're going to come down with the holy force of life and death and inflict death. What Natasha said, the court system is a corrupt, captured system. It's there to serve itself. The gentlemen of the bar represent the gentlemen of the bar. You got the government making laws. You got the RCMG, and I won't use technical platform, Gestapo agents, in my humble view, enforcing it, and then you've got the courts ratifying. And they're just a big circle of corruption, protecting themselves, reinforcing themselves for the detriment of freedom in Canada. I just got to watch what I take. This makes you have evil thoughts, and you have to check your evil thoughts and not wish ill on anybody. But I'm channeling a little Mark Twain. I've never wished death on somebody, but I've read a great many stories with gleeful delight. Right now, I have very bad feelings for everyone involved. They are evil, and may they live a long, healthy life, hearing the echoes of those gunshots and the crying families for the rest of their lives.
And Alexa, I mean, to Viva's point, I guess it's one thing to have activist liberals, quite another kettle of fish to have activist judges. But in the bigger picture, and certainly to speak to what JFK Jr. was thinking, were these ostriches somehow some sort of a competitive threat to certain vested interests in the pharmaceutical industry?
Well, there is a lot of to unpack in this situation. First of all, we know that the bird were actually healthy. There is some people who actually offered to retest them on their own dime. The fact that the Supreme Court refused to actually hear the case, and they invoked the Animal Health Act. So in this, there is two options: or you're killing the animals, or you're offering a treatment. But the thing is, those ostriches were healthy. And so my point is, we have the US offering to take them for some research, because they are really important for research. And the fact that there is nobody taking in consideration all those elements and decided to go ahead and kill all those flocks, that just means something. And it's speculation, but I think everything went too far to backtrack and to say, okay, we will not do it. Everything got so international that the government had to go ahead and to do the irreparable and to kill them. Because at the end of the day, if they didn't do it, what that can send as a message that the population can actually overturn the decision that the government is taking. I see that as an authoritarian regime who is not taking in consideration all the elements and just decide to take their own decision and not listen to either the US, but also the owners.
No, and to your point, Alexa, thank goodness we have Rebel News staffers on the ground. I talk about Drea Humphrey. She spent weeks there in total. Also, Sid Fizzard. If you might have noticed, folks, some of that drone footage showing basically now the corpses of these ostriches. And in typical government fashion, they didn't bring enough blue body bags, blue tarps to cover them. But hey, never mind.